Hello, welcome to the Grand Ledge Area District Library. I'm Carol Robinson, our youth librarian. April is Poetry Month, so today I'm going to talk to you about some books with poems and about poetry for kids. The first one we have is kind of a silly book called Science Verse by Scieszka and Lane Smith. So the little boy is in science class, and his teacher's talking, and all of a sudden, the kid can only think in science poems. So we've got cool science poems like, maybe you've heard the poem, "It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring." Well, in this book, the version is, "It's raining, it's pouring, for H2O, it's boring." So it's got all kinds of silly poems all about science in a nice bright colored picture book format. Good for the littlest poetry fans. Maybe if you're working on learning to read by yourself, or you just want something really silly, try poems by Jack Prelutsky. This one is called "My Parents Think I'm Sleeping." So it's all kinds of silly poems about nighttime and trying to sleep, and the weird shadows on your wall, or it's late at night and you're really hungry and you remember there's chocolate cake downstairs. So if you've ever stayed up late at night, not able to sleep, wanting chocolate cake, staring at the stars, maybe try some Jack Prelutsky. The next book is a chapter book for maybe late to elementary. And it's not actually poetry, but it's about poetry. It's called Finding Langston by Lesa Cline-Ransome. Now Langston is an 11-year-old boy. He and his father just moved from the rural South as part of the Great Diaspora up to Chicago. Langston's mother died a few years ago, and he's really missing home and grandma and all his friends and family back home, when he discovers one day after school a local public library. Unlike the library back home, this lets African Americans in. It's not segregated. And when he's there, he finds a book of poetry by an author who shares the same first name, Langston Hughes. So as young Langston starts reading the poetry of Langston Hughes, he starts discovering things about his mother that he never knew, and it brings him a little closer, perhaps, to his mother's spirit. For older readers, we've got a book that's called A Novel in Verse. So basically, it's a bunch of poems that make up a story. In this case, it's The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. It's about twin basketball stars, Josh and Jordan Bell. They're kings on the court at their school, and Josh also loves rhyming and rap. But as Jordan starts getting closer to a new girl at school, they start drifting apart a little. And they learn in this that life is not necessarily all about basketball. It's not necessarily even all about winning, but it's a story of brotherhood and basketball, told in poems. And last, we have a collection of poetry by a young people's poet laureate, Naomi Shihab. This particular collection is Castaway, Poems of Our Times. It's actually a set of books written all about trash and recycling and cleaning up. So it's got poems about cardboard boxes and things left behind and forgotten. And she's one of my favorite poets. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm really excited to, and I hope you will be too. So that's some of our fun poetry books for kids. We've got plenty more here at the library. So if you're ready to celebrate Poetry Month, come on down.